Hola y buenos dias. So today we're going to take a quick break from being able to talk about our classes and who teaches those classes and what when we have those classes. But we're going to focus more today on what are the things that we need for our classes. So today is primarily all about vocabulary and learning these words and the things that we typically bring to our classes, along with the people that we may encounter in our classrooms. So if you would, go ahead and have your Google slideshow open so that you can take notes as I go through this Google slideshow with you. Feel free to pause the video as you encounter these new words to write them down and type them in your Google slideshow just as you would take notes on paper. So very quickly, without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. Los útiles escolares just means classroom materials, and las personas de la escuela means the people at the school. So let's go ahead and get started with some of the people at your school. To first off talk about a teacher, you're going to use el profesor or el maestro, but these two words are only used to talk about a male teacher. So the word el kind of lets us know that it has to do with a male and not a female. There's also some slang here that I'm going to let you know that typically when students have a question in Spanish or they're trying to flag down their teacher, they might say, hey, profe, profe, profe. And so they shorten that word profesor to profe. So it's a way that you can kind of use some slang with your Spanish, but el profesor is the most commonly used word for teacher. El maestro is a little bit of an older term, but it also means teacher. And so expect to use those when you talk about any male teachers that you may have. So now talking about a female teacher, we would use la profesora or la maestra. And that also refers to teacher. Notice though that el changes to la, and that refers to more feminine or female, and lets us know that we're talking about a female teacher. So la profesora. Next up, we have el estudiante, which is a male student, and we have la estudiante, which is a female student. Now, getting into some of the items that we're going to talk about, we are going to encounter that there is both masculine and feminine items, and I know this is really tricky for us as English speakers, but looking at this word pencil, in Spanish, it's el lápiz, and I know what you may be thinking. You're like going, wait, but Mr. Davis, you just said that when we put el in front of a word, it means male teacher or male student. Does this mean that like the pencil belongs to a boy or that the pencil is male? No, not really. To be honest with you, in Spanish, we classify words as either masculine or feminine words. And the way that we do that is we let people know by writing el or la before the word to let them know whether it's masculine or feminine. We don't really have anything like this in English, but for right now, what I'd encourage you to do is to go ahead and as you learn this vocabulary, recognize that when we look at it, that is the word in Spanish for pencil in English. Okay. Don't worry about en and la right now and masculine and feminine. We'll get to that later on. But just know going forward that any words that we encounter are going to be referring to our English word that we have. So without further ado, we'll continue on. So, pen in Spanish is el bolígrafo or la pluma. And these are the most commonly used words for pen in the Spanish speaking world. So el bolígrafo is masculine and la pluma is feminine. By the way, a simple rule for knowing whether a word is masculine or feminine is that at the end of the word, you'll notice like most of these words that are el are going to end with an O, and most of the words that are la are going to end with an A. Now, that is most of the time true. I want to say 90% of the time that is true. But there are some exceptions to that. And so you need to watch out for those exceptions. Then for marker, we have el marcador, and this is a cognate. It makes it really easy to learn because it sounds like our English word marker. So el marcador. Next, we have notebook, and notebook in Spanish is el cuaderno. El cuaderno is a notebook. After that, we have el libro, which is a book, el libro. After el libro, we have la hoja de papel, which is a sheet of paper. So when we're talking about a sheet of paper, we're going to say la hoja de papel. But if we want to just refer to paper, we'll just say el papel. So la hoja de papel, a sheet of paper. Paper, el papel. Next, we have la carpeta, which is a folder. And this is a tricky word because it sounds like carpet, which means that it's a false cognate, meaning it sounds like one word in English, but it does not mean that word in English. And so watch out for these types of words. La carpeta means folder. Next, we have la calculadora, another really nice cognate that sounds like our English word calculator or calculator if you prefer. And then, so la calculadora would be a calculator. Next, we have la carpeta de argollas. So we take that word folder and then we add an argollas to refer to a binder. So this would be a binder, la carpeta de argollas. After that, we have el diccionario, which is also a very nice cognate. Sounds like our word dictionary. Next, we have la tarea, excuse me. La tarea means homework. So la tarea means homework. After that, we have la regla for a ruler. La regla is a ruler. Then we have las tijeras for scissors. So it's not tijeras, it's tijeras. Las tijeras means scissors. After that, we have la mochila. La mochila is a backpack. La mochila. Then, for an eraser that we erase pencil marks with, we're going to refer to this as la goma. This is different from a whiteboard eraser, and we'll get to that one in our next unit, but la goma is an eraser that you would erase pencil marks with. Next, we have pencil sharpener, and this may be one of my favorite words in Spanish. It is el sacapuntas. So el sacapuntas is a pencil sharpener. Next, to talk about your schedule, you'll use the word el horario. And you'll notice there's a word in there, hora, H-O-R-A. Hora refers to hour in Spanish or time. And so you can imagine that with a schedule, things are broken down by hours. So el horario is a schedule. Next, we have lunchbox, which is la caja del almuerzo. And so a little bit that's odd in Spanish is la caja is box of lunch, or in English, lunch box. So it's a little bit mixed up as far as the word order. Just know that Spanish is a different language than English is, and so the word order is going to be slightly different. After that, we have la botella de agua, which is a water bottle. So la botella de agua is a water bottle. No, it does not just mean that it's a hydro flask. It could be any bottle of water. And that pretty much covers it for our vocabulary that we need to know when we talk about what we need for our classes. So I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that you've managed to fill out your note-taking guide. If you've not, go rewatch the video, pause as needed, and fill out that note-taking guide. And if you have any questions, you can always email me. Bueno, nos vemos.